Welcome back to training number 2. If you can't tell, this is the big one, taking back control. But before we get into that, I just want to do a quick overview of the training number 1 so we make sure we're on the same page. In training 1, the overhaul audit, we talked about the world and the concept and how we can look at healing and rebuilding our world, which mode you are currently in, dive, survive, or thrive, why you even want to make these changes, like really want to make them, and taking some time to envision our future self and the life based on how you feel internally and how that will affect your external world. So now you know where you're headed, it's time to be brave enough to look at the blocks that are holding you back from getting there. In this training, we will look at the most common blocks holding you back and then work through a practical exercise of how to identify them, helping you find the direction that you need. No more feeling lost. After doing hundreds of coaching calls, I have managed to find 8 major contributors that I find block people on the road to thriving. And when we talk about those blocks, I want you to think that you're walking down a path to the destination you know you want to get to, but there are multiple things blocking the road. Coaching is all about helping you move, go around, overcome these blocks, and that's what we're doing today. Take a look at page 6 in your workbook. I briefly explain them and how they impact your world, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on this video. Grab your pen and paper, it is time to do the training. Now, the things I'm talking about are very multi-layered, and obviously I don't have time to go into every single one in this training in depth, but I do want you to understand the concepts and see if you can identify which ones are holding you back. Number 1 is know yourself. This is the bare minimum that you need to keep your world healthy. Most people don't even know their basic needs, physically, emotionally, spiritually, or what they even want from their world. Number 2 is self-talk. This is our internal system that runs our world. So you best understand how important this one is. How to think, feel, believe, and communicate with yourself is critical to your happiness and inner peace. If you feel unworthy, unlovable, that is exactly what you're going to attract. If you think negative, perfectionist thoughts about yourself, you'll never thrive. It's not your fault, they're learned, but we need to relearn how to talk to ourselves in a healthy way. Number 3 is emotional regulation. Your world wants to feel in control and balanced, and when it's not, the warning sound comes on. This is your ability to cope, soothe, and regulate through those when those systems are stressed and triggered. This is known as our fight, flight, freeze, and fawn states, and a huge focus for healing old patterns, anxieties, and traumas, and something to really work alongside self-talk. Number 4, prioritizing yourself. Your world only has a certain amount of hours per day. Where you spend that time dictates your world's mode too. This is your ability to show up for yourself, calling all the people pleasers, ex-people pleasers who used to spend way too much time thinking it was better in other people's worlds, and not finding the balance between doing which is running your world and doing all the things, and just being, where you're exploring and enjoying what your world has to offer. Number 5 is connections. You've heard me talk about bridges before in the last video, and that's exactly what connections are. They are the bridge to other worlds. For example, your children, your family, your friends, your work. A way to gather resources and upgrades to your world. But it can come at a big cost if not done right. Look at whose world you're spending too much time in and neglecting your own world. Or who is coming across into your world and pillaging. Who you connect with, you start to become. But without good connections, a world will wither. Relational intelligence is critical and something I really want you to look at. 6 is boundaries. Related to that is the gates. Think of them like the gates on the bridges. The very passive person has no gate and opens it for everyone and then gets upset when they feel so used. A very avoidant person will have walls so high that no one can even get in. Healthy boundaries don't stop you from pain, but it helps to create an element of self-trust and respect, both ways, with how you deserve to be treated and where you spend your energy, where you can and can't give. Number 7 is habits. The one we are all aware of, but the one that's the trickiest by far. This is looking at what unhealthy habits you're using to cope within survival mode. They have no place in the thriving mode. This can be external things like drinking, eating, toxic relationships, etc. But I have found it's actually things linked to more internal, like self-control, self-discipline, self-worth, showing up, and self-respect. There are much better habits and skills to focus on and develop. Number 8 is purpose. There's this really great quote that I love. It says, "The point to human experience lies not just in staying alive, but in finding something to live for." I truly believe we were put on this planet to contribute, to love, to thrive. But without feeling purposeful, we can often feel lost, disconnected, and your purpose may simply be raising the kids for the next generation and you love it. Or it could be something crazy like solving world hunger. Maybe you're just here to share your gift so others don't suffer like you did. We often think it has to be this massive, great contributor, but the point is not what others think is great, but what you feel at your core, your soul mission. Purpose can shift over the years too. Once it's done, you might want to connect with another one. There's not just one set purpose for the rest of your life. It can lead to freedom and more choices, and who doesn't want that? Purpose gives you a reason to get up in the morning. It's the motivation that you've been searching for. You don't feel drained because you're using your energy for what lights you up every single day. There could be more for you, but as I said, these are the main 8 blocks. And if you're feeling overwhelmed with where to start, we will cover some of this in the next activity. But remember, if you need more personalized support and you think it would be super helpful to just get some feedback or have a personal chat, then make sure you jump in my calendar below and we can see if we can find more peace and clarity for you. And I will see you in the practical part of this session. Welcome back to the practical part. This is the Wheel of Life. It's a tool that helps you better understand what you can do to grow in your life and where you can find more balance and support in areas that are holding you back from your true potential. Usually, people use this in more of like a career, money, relationships. But as I said, I like to do things a little differently to ensure long-term success, to rewire what's internal and really make those changes, and you will see it will affect all of the areas anyway. Think about the 8 categories below that we discussed in the training, and I want you to rate them from 1 being low to 10 being mastered by colouring in the spaces on how confident you feel about them right now, and as well how much time you spend on them. Remember, you must be honest with yourself. So take some time by pausing this video to reflect and have a really good think about each component. Then I want you to complete the questions at the bottom. My greatest strengths are. Wait a minute, Lisa, weren't we talking about what I can improve? Yes, but it is important to recognize your strengths, as we tend to get super self-critical at this point. And we start to look at where we're all going wrong and what we're not good enough at. But really, if you're in survival mode, you're most likely doing a lot of things right already. They just maybe need some more of your time or more of your attention and recognition. Remember, be kind to yourself. Self-reflection is not about self-deprecation. I know I'm speaking from experience, but it's about a celebration of where you're at, an evaluation of where things need to change and where you want to get better. Now, I want you to complete my biggest areas for growth are. Perfect. Now you've identified your areas of growth, it's on to the bit you've been waiting for. How to get unstuck. Move these blocks and make the changes with easy, actionable steps. I hope you're as excited as I am. I will see you for your training in video 3.